Good evening and thank you for joining me once again for a summary of the news stories making headlines this hour. I'm Dominic Mwashikele. The regional and local government minister officially opened a consultative meeting on local authorities, budgeting and planning in Windhoek today. J.D. Kanjo promised to build more houses for all income groups across the country in the 2012-2013 financial year. At the moment, only high-income groups seem to be catered for by the housing sector, leaving the other groups in the cold because 60% of the Namibian population cannot access the housing market. This is due to either high housing prices or lack of service land for housing. All the Town Council Chief Executive Officers are attending the two-day consultative meeting together with their financial managers as well as village council secretaries, and the minister, J.D. Kanjo, urged them to deliver housing to the nation. Unhappy workers of the Namibia Fisheries Observer Agency at Walvis Bay staged a peaceful demonstration today over a pay dispute. They are dissatisfied because they have allegedly not received a salary increment this year and are also questioning why their chief executive officer was allegedly granted a 5% salary hike. Samson Gavesep, the chairman of the Shop Steward Committee, said the salary increment was long overdue. They are also demanding that the 2002 Employment Condition and Policy providing for a housing scheme be implemented immediately. They further want the CEO, Hafeni Mugungu, and his senior managers to be banned from attending international conferences meant for fisheries observers. They also want the CEO to be fired with immediate effect. A group that protested against the Batani Village Council for alleged mismanagement failure to develop the village and the termination of the Village Council's chief executive officer became unruly yesterday. They attempted to storm the Village Council building but were stopped by the police. This was after information was leaked that the village secretary had phoned the regional police commander to remove them in front of the council office where they had been camping. The protesters tried to force their way into the building, demanding that the village secretary should listen to them as well as receive their petition. Using a loudspeaker, they also demanded that the RDP town councillor, Andre Notes, should also resign. The police stopped them from entering the building, and Notes refused to receive their petition, saying only his party, the RDP, had the power to remove him from office. First Lady Penakhupipo Pohamba took over the presidency of the Organization of African First Ladies Against AIDS last Thursday in Addis Ababa, Ethiopia. WAFLA's head office was set up in Addis Ababa following a decision of its General Assembly last year that it be set up in that country as it would be closer to the African Union headquarters. Madam Pohamba returned home on Sunday. The new WAFLA president said with the organization's head office having been set up already, only filling of positions with staff remain to get the ball rolling. Madam Pohamba said she would try to campaign for vice presidents for the office with 1 or 2 candidates coming from Namibia. She said during her tenure she would also advance the fight to reduce maternal and infant mortality with special focus on men to get more involved in maternal health. International news, Liberian voters have braved heavy rain to cast their ballots in the country's second election since the end of a 14-year civil war. President Ellen Johnson Sirleaf is expected to face her strongest challenge from former UN envoy Winston Tubman, a nephew of an ex-president. Both candidates praised the peaceful and disciplined nature of the vote. Sirleaf, Africa's first elected female head of state, was awarded the Nobel Peace Prize last week. But Tubman says she has not done enough to tackle corruption. Sirleaf won the 2005 elections after the conflict ended in 2003. She defeated former football star George Weah, who is Tubman's running mate this time. This is the first time the National Elections Commission has organized, as the previous one was run by the UN. Well, that's it for tonight. Thank you for watching. Good night.